So, what was dating like in your days? I don't know how old you are, but in your days.
Fairly easy, really. Um, uh, we were just very sociable and met each other, and dating was very easy, really, when I was young.
What was the experience like, and how did you guys meet?
Well, we met at university on the first day, but had nothing to do with each other, really, from a point of view of romance, for several years. And then when we qualified, we got back together again. It's quite a long story, but if you want to hear it.
Yeah, sure.
So,
Very interesting.
Don't name names.
so well, we'd split up, but we'd booked a holiday to Moscow and Leningrad in winter in 1979, and couldn't afford not to go on the holiday, so we went on the holiday to frozen Moscow in winter. And
you don't have many friends.
here we
in
are,
Moscow,
44 years later.
So, what is the secret to keeping such a long-term loving relationship?
You've got to be realistic, and I mean, when you say loving relationship, it's not loving every moment of every day. I think, yes, lots of sense of humour, but there's been lots and lots of just going to work, coming home, eat, go to bed, because that's what everybody does. But an acceptance that, there might always be somebody else over there. I won't tell you what his catchphrase used to be. It's very rude. But
Well, my philosophy in life is I don't look forward to anything in particular, like my wife's birthday, Valentine's Day, wedding anniversaries. They're not important because we celebrate every day. So those days are just the same as every other day.
you just make the best of when it comes.
I think a lot of times it's the day to day, the mundane day to day that really matters, because a lot of times it's not so exciting, right? And you have to come to terms with it, and it's going to be a mundane day to day for a long period of time as well, right? But there's going to be moments that you really enjoy, moments that you share a good moment together.
I think you have to live for the moment. The thing that I don't get is the amount of money people spend on a wedding. So however much you love someone, however special that day, it only lasts the same number of hours of every other day. And if all your family go, you've got to look after your grandma, your granddad, you've got to talk to all your cousins, and spending tens of thousands of pounds on that for something that goes actually very quickly. It's probably one of the quickest days of my life because didn't have time to think. So I wouldn't advise someone to spend huge sums of money on a wedding.
Or
I'd spend it
anything.
on something far better.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times people do that to show other people, though,
Yeah.
to show people that we love each other, whatever. So they're putting on some sort of performance, right? A lot of times.
Well, I think we've felt we've nothing to prove. It's take it or leave it. I'm sure those two people over there eating a pizza under a tree are having as much fun as if you'd gone to a restaurant and spent a fortune on a meal. I really don't think the amount of money you spend on something, that might be easy for us to say because we've never been short of money. We're not mega rich, but we've never been short of a meal or short of the ability to go out. We can go out and eat when we want, and therefore we appreciate a simple pizza or, we spend a lot of time now picnicking in London, take a picnic to the park. And so I think it's finding pleasure all the time in simple things and appreciating that, yes, for 10 minutes once in a while, you might find that somebody else over there looks more attractive. But at the end of the day, you just got to, live with somebody and get on with it. And I think you inevitably tire over time and you just have to reinvent yourself and get on with it. I don't honestly think that there was any better life with anybody else anywhere else. It's oh dear.
No, that's fine.
It comes down to communication and also spending time together and not thinking that grass is always greener on the other side, because that tends to be the problem that I guess a lot of people in my generation are facing, right?
If you're always looking forward to something, you're wasting your time. You know,
You'll
you
be
need to live for the
disappointed.
moment.
Do you think young people these days have a shorter attention span?
I don't think we've changed really. I think, you know, fundamentally we're the same biological beings that we were 100 years ago, 200 years ago. Circumstances are different, but I doubt we're that different in reality.
We have built different habits as a result of the circumstances, the conditions. Let's say if we're used to watching a lot of short videos or relationships are very short, do you think we have a shorter attention span these days as a result of the social conditioning or the culture that we have today?
Not sure actually, because if you look into history and what people did, you know, a lot of it's not spoken about or written about. But when you go around museums and learn about what happened, like the people who developed this area of London, you know, their behaviour isn't written about or known as much as people know about people today because there wasn't social media. But I think the same was happening then.
What about you?
I think possibly the attention span is less, but I think the thing that's changed is people committing. And it's not just about relationships, it's like, I mean, I'm thinking of societies that we belong to and groups that you belong to. People nowadays don't seem to want to commit to something and stick with it and keep at it. There's always something else to move on to, and social media feeds that because there's, you know, every time you open, because we're older, do Facebook. Every time you open Facebook, there's another offer and another thing and another thing, and
So it opens up for more possibilities, right? Which triggers, I guess.
to think of other things. I guess because we are where we are. I think the other thing is the financial security that when you look at, you know, we've got friends who've separated and divorced and things like that, and there is no doubt from the financial point of view that it is so much easier to stick together. You know, unless you are in an incredibly cruel, controlling relationship which you cannot bear anymore, it's a much easier, more stable, financially secure situation to stick together because you've had to commit to buying a house and all that goes with that.